Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Double Sleeved. Today is our first episode of deck ideas where we'll be going through all the different leaders of set 15, just kind of create a creative and different deck for each one. Some of them may not be the most meta defining competitive deck, some of them just being a bit more fun to take to locals, try different things, but hopefully you guys get something out of it, potentially cards that work with the leader that you hadn't thought of and things like that. So jumping right into it, we're going to start with Son Gohan, the yellow leader from set 15. As you can see, you've got the full deck here to kind of flip through, but I'm going to be reading out each card as we go along. So if there's any new players that aren't sure what the previous card from older sets does and things like that, gives you the opportunity to kind of read that card alongside me, as well as see as other cards that work well with it. Jumping straight in, we've got Son Gohan. Auto, if you have one or more energy, when a player places a field extra card in a battle area, you may flip this card over. If you do, switch up to one of your yellow energy to active mode. You can't flip your leader to its front for the turn and choose one. Draw one card, or add up to one yellow field extra card with an energy cost of 1 from your drop area to your hand. On the other side, so this leader doesn't have an awaken, we're just going to be flipping over auto. When this card attacks, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, switch it to rest mode, and this card gets plus 5,000 power for the turn. Auto, once per turn, when this card KOs an opponent's battle card, switch this card to active mode. Auto, when a player's field extra card leaves a battle area, you may flip this card to its front. If you do, you can't flip your leader card to its back for the turn. If it's your opponent's turn, switch up to one of your yellow energy to active mode, and this card gets plus 5,000 power for the turn. We see that auto being able to restand if you KO an opponent's battle card. We've got being able to switch opponent's battle cards to rest mode on swing and gaining 5k, and also when we flip back over to the front side, we're maintaining that 5k, so going back to 10k, but staying at 15. Moving on to the deck, I've currently got this at 57 cards, but you can play around with it. There's a couple of cards in there that I just thought would be a bit cute. You can remove them and, just kind of give you a bit of a base on where to start with this deck. Starting with the extra cards, we've got Frieza's Army Reinforcement. A staple in most decks these days are these kind of negates, where you can pay 2 energy, negate the attack, play a token. They all vary in power and combo and things like that, but it gains blocker for the turn. But a lot of people play it for the permanent. Your life is at 5 or less. You can take a life instead of paying the energy cost to play this card. Vegeta's Final Flash. Another staple for yellow. We've seen how strong this card is by ignoring barrier. So going through the card skill, activate battle. If your leader is yellow, choose one of your leader cards or battle cards. It gets plus 15,000 power for the duration of the battle. Auto, if all of your energy is yellow, when you activate this card, choose one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and negate its skills for the turn. Great card when your opponent's swinging in for game with anything that has skills like double strike, triple strike. Being able to just remove those mid-battle is phenomenal. Power of a Super Saiyan, another great yellow card. Counterattack, negate the attack, but a lot of people are using this now for the permanent. If you have one or more yellow energy in active mode, you can activate this card's activate battle skill from your hand without paying its energy cost. And that activate battle skill is, if your leader is mono yellow, draw one card, choose one of your opponent's battle cards or unison cards, switch it to rest mode, and then you can't activate copies of this card for the turn, the activate battle that is. Being able to untap that energy with your leader when you flip over allows you to then use this card if it comes up. A great card. The deck itself revolves around field cards. You use them to flip over each side and flip back. So we're going to be running a couple of different ones. We've got 8 copies here. I've gone with 4 copies of Planet Vegeta. This is an older card from set 3 it is. We've got, at the end of your turn, switch all of your Great Ape in your battle area to active mode. Also, when this card is placed in your battle area, choose up to one Saiyan with an energy cost of 4 or less from the deck, add it to your hand, shuffle the deck. We do run a bunch of different Saiyans, so being able to search those out is great. Next, we have High Dragon's Home, another field card. If your leader is yellow Saiyan card, when this card is placed in the battle area, add up to one monster card with an energy cost of 3 or less from the deck to your hand, then shuffle the deck. Auto at the end of your opponent's turn, place this card in its owner's drop area, and auto for 2 generic energy. When this card is placed in its owner's drop area from your battle area, choose up to 1 monster card with an energy cost of 2 or less in your hand and play it. We're not running a great deal of monster cards, but we do have a 1 or 2 that we can kind of maneuver with that field card. And then Forest Fire. If your leader is Yellow Saiyan card, when this card is placed in a battle area, add up to 1 mono Yellow Saiyan card with an energy cost of 4 from the deck to your hand, shuffle your deck, similar to what we saw with the Planet Vegeta. Auto, place this card in the owner's drop area from your battle area. At the end of your opponent's turn, they may choose 1 card in their hand and discard it. If they don't, choose all field extra cards with energy cost of 1 in their battle area and place them in the owner's drop area. So good against a mirror match for this deck, good against other decks that rely on their field card and things like that, but also being able to search that mono yellow Saiyan energy cost of 4 is always going to come in handy. Next we have Android 18 Steadfast Technique. So this deck is almost mono yellow with this card and a couple of black cards. But we've got auto, choose 1 extra card in your hand and place it in the drop area. When you combo with this card, it gets plus 6,000 combo power for the duration of the turn. So I've put this in because we are running 8 copies of field cards. So we don't want to have them clunking up our hand and we can't get rid of them, can't use them, things like that. So having this card allows us to pitch that extra card that's clogging up our hand, and this then becomes an 11k combo. Next we have Poutine, the Dark Sorcerer. A great card in yellow. I've been using this in my Sin Shenron since it came out. I love this card. Barrier, unique. If your leader is yellow, when an opponent's card is switched to rest mode by one of your card's skills, you may play this card from your hand. And what makes this card so good, auto once per turn, when your opponent plays a battle card using a skill or activates a counter skill, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and switch to rest mode. So yeah, this card's Barrier. We've got a lot of different cards in this deck that can switch cards to rest mode. You can do it off your leader on the backside and things like that. So being able to get this on the board, it's difficult for your opponent to remove, and you're just constantly gaining value by switching their battle cards to rest mode. Next, we have Bardock Awakened Instincts. I've got this at 2 copies, so this might be a bit reminiscent of the Mecha Freezer list that people used to playing the Planet Vegeta and having the option to search this out. So again, we've kind of got that available as well. This card is Overwhelm for 4. Auto, when you play this card with Overwhelm, draw 2 cards, choose 1 card in your hand and place it in the drop area. So a lot of our cards as well do rely on extra cards being in drop area, energy, and things like that. So if we've got extra cards in the drop area that we're warping away, it would always be good to then pitch an extra card so that you do have one ready in the drop area to keep your skills alive. But being able to draw 2 cards and then pitch a dead card from hand is always good, and then you have the 20k attacker. Moving on to the secret rare, I've put in Super 17, Sibling Absorbed. Not a card that we see a whole lot of play at the moment, but I do think that it's a great card. Obviously, you can be running any of the generic secret rares and things like that. We see Kai a lot, so I thought I'd go something different and put Super 17 in. That's 40k ultimate deflect with critical. Counterplay, play this card, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, ignoring barrier, place it under this card. The played battle card has its skills negated for the turn. Permanent, if this card is removed from your battle area, remove it from the game. Permanent, if your leader and all of your energy are mono yellow and your opponent has 3 or more energy, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 7, becoming a 1 cost. So that's what makes this card quite playable. Obviously, you don't want to be paying 8 for this, but yeah, the counterplay, being able to negate skills on the battle card being played, so they're not getting their on-play autos and things like that, is phenomenal. And then having the option to just remove something, ignoring barrier that's already on the field, is great. And then you've got the 40k critical. So yeah, great against cards like Fu Shrouded, for example, a card that doesn't have a whole lot that can interact with it. So being able to play this has deflect, so it can be difficult to kind of get around. Next, we have the super combo, Krillin Moments Before Comeback. Pretty standard in yellow decks. If your leader's yellow, life's of 4 or less, and all your energy is yellow, when this card is used in a combo, it gets plus 10,000 combo power for the battle. You may choose 1 card in your hand, place it at the bottom of the deck. If you do, draw 2 cards. Being able to get rid of those dead cards, draw 2 new cards is always great. For the Unison, I've gone with SS Gogeta, Dynamic Unison. Permanent, if all of your energy is in rest mode, your mono yellow leader gets plus 5,000 power for the duration of, during your opponent's turn. Auto, once per turn, when your opponent activates an extra card, add a marker to this card. +1, activate main. You may choose 2 yellow cards in your hand, discard them. If you do, draw 2 cards. And a -4, activate main. During your opponent's next charge phase, your opponent can only switch up to 2 energy to active mode. There is a little bit of synergy in this deck that I've kind of played around with. Obviously, when you flip to your backside, you are untapping 1, which would then stop this permanent from being live. So I've added a couple of cards to kind of play around with that, depending if you have more energy available as well and things like that. But being tapped out and getting the plus 5k is quite good. It means your opponent has to use an extra card to then swing into your leader. And the +1, if you've got a couple of dead cards in your hand, you've got a Poutine on board, and they need to be yellow cards. So if you've got a couple of extra cards in hand that you need to get rid of, you can pitch them and draw 2 new cards. Swift Retaliation Cooler, just as a one-of, counter. If your leader is yellow, negate the counter and play this card. When you play this card, draw 1 card. If you have 6 or more cards in rest mode, draw 1 more card. Really strong if you're going for game, your opponent counters, you can kind of snipe that counter and then remove it and go in for game from there. You could run 1 or 2 copies of this, but I like to leave it at 1. Mecha Freezer, Robotic Riposte, another great yellow card. Counter attack, negate the attack, then play this card. Permanent, if your leader is yellow, your opponent has 2 or more energy, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 1 for each yellow extra card in your energy and drop area. Auto, when this card is played from your hand, each time your opponent would attack with a non-unison card this turn, they may choose one of their cards in active mode and switch to rest mode. And then activate main for 2 yellow energy, choose up to 1 yellow freezer card with an energy cost of 4 and mecha in its name and play it on top of this card. We're not going to be using the activate main at all in this deck, mainly going for the negate and then the auto, triggering things like your Poutine if they continue to attack and things like that. But it can be difficult for your opponent to kind of push for game if they're constantly having to switch their cards to rest mode. Next we see Son Goku Return of the Dragon Fist. One of the more popular yellow finishes that we're seeing now. 8 cost, 25k, deflect, double strike. When this card is played, choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and KO them. Activate main for 3 yellow energy. If you have 4 or more energy and a yellow unison card in play this card from your hand. Activate main once per turn, Spirit Boost 2, so removing 2 markers from that unison. If your leader is mono yellow, this card gains dual attack for the turn, and your opponent can't activate skills on battle cards with original energy cost of 7 or less from any area when this card is in battle. So we're shutting off things like the, Topo, Green Topo, Oceanus, all those battle card negates, the Mecha Freezer that we just went over. Also shutting down super combos and things like that allow you to continue to draw. So a really great card. Next we have Destructive Occupation Freezer. This is one of the Series 2 cards. So set 2, Union Force. We don't see these cards around much. There was 1 for every color at the end of the battle after you combo with this card. If your leader is yellow, play this card in rest mode. They were 1 cost 10k combos. And the reason I've added this card in is because your leader, when it flips to the backside, you get to untap 1. So if you don't have anything else to kind of do with that energy, it kind of gives you the option to, get out of the attack if they're at 15, 20, or 15 or 20k, you can combo up to 25k, get out of the attack, and then play a 15k attacker. So something to consider. It's a cool little funky card. If you've got the energy, if you've got the energy available, something to play around with there. Next we see Grade 8 Bardock, Raiders Warcry, another similar card in which you combo into play. This one was 20k double strike. If your leader is yellow, at the end of the battle in which you combo with this card, play it. It's a 2 cost 10k combo, so a bit more expensive than the freezer, but you do get some additional effects. When you play this card, draw 1, choose one of your opponent's battle cards and switch to rest mode. Again, another great card that we've seen in yellow quite consistently. Puts pressure on if you've got the energy available. It's a great card to play. You can get out of the combo out of an attack and then play this card and rest something else. Moving on to the set 15 cards. So these are the cards that you'll be able to find in Saiyan Showdown, excluding the extra cards that we've already covered. We've got Son Gohan and High Dragon Best Buds. a 1 cost 4k. When this card is played from your hand, look at up to 7 cards from the top of your deck, add up to 1 yellow field extra card with an energy cost of 1 among them, and add it to your hand, or you can activate it. Then shuffle your deck, activate battle, limit 1, switch this card to rest mode, choose 1 yellow field extra card in your battle area, place it in the owner's drop area, choose up to 1 of your mono yellow Saiyan cards, and it gets plus 1000 power for the battle. So yeah, a lot of synergy with that, the field cards that you have on the field. I guess like a funky little play that, made me want to put this freezer in, is you can, if you've got the unison out, you've got this card out, you've got a field card out, you can activate battle, switch this to rest mode, pop 1 of your field cards, giving your leader that 1k, so sitting at 16. When 1 of your field extra cards leaves the battle area, you then get to flip, untapping 1 of your energy, and it gets plus 5000 power for the turn. So you would flip, maintaining that 1k that you've already gained, so just sitting at 16k still. Then you can do things like combo the freezer, so then you're at 26k. You'd then be tapped out, triggering your unison, putting you at 31k. So if your opponent has swung with a 30k, you've just gotten out of that attack for 1 energy, and you then at the end of the battle get to play the freezer. If you've got the energy available, you can do that with the Raiders Warcry and things like that. So just a fun little play there. But yeah, this deck definitely does rely on this card, being able to remove those field cards, and kind of gain the effects from there. But also being able to play this, look at the top 7 and potentially activate it, is really strong. It means that, yeah, we know you don't necessarily need the field card in hand. If you haven't seen it in your open mulligan, you do have options to play that from the deck. Next, we have Son Gohan, the Misadventure, a 4 cost 19k blocker, permanent. If this card in your battle area will be placed in the owner's drop area by 1 of your skills, it's sent to the owner's warp instead. Auto for 1 yellow. If your leader is yellow, when a yellow field extra card in your battle area is placed in the owner's drop area, play this card from your hand, then choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards or unison cards, ignoring barrier, and switch to rest mode. If you have the energy available, like we were saying with that previous play of when you remove the field card, this is another option as well. Yeah, so being able to play it and then tap something else down is always good, and then you've got another blocker available. Yeah, so another funky little card there. Turles, all too easy, 5 cost, 2 specified yellow, double strike. Auto, when this card is played, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, KO it, then choose 1. You can draw 1 card, or choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and KO it. So being able to pop 2 battle cards in rest mode when this card is played, or the option to pop 1 and draw 1 depending on what you need. Activate main for 2 yellow. If your leader is a mono yellow Saiyan and you have 3 or more energy, play this card from your hand. Being able to play this for 2 energy and pop 2 things is really strong, and then you've got the 20k double strike to swing in with. Son Gohan, Steadfast Assistance, 3 cost, 1 yellow, blocker, counterplay. The battle card being played is played in rest mode, then play this card and draw 1. Pardon me. Permanent, when activating this card's counter skill from your hand, reduce this card's energy cost by 1 for each yellow extra card in your battle area, energy area, and drop area. So we've got a bunch of different areas where we can put those extra cards, which we run a fair few of, and reduce the energy cost for this card. Yeah, really strong, being able to put something in rest mode and then play this card, and you've got the blocker available. Really good. We also have Piccolo, Battle at the Tree, 2 cost, blocker, counter attack, negate the attack, play this card, and you can't activate counter attack skills for the turn. Permanent, when activating this card's counter skill from your hand, if your leader is a yellow Saiyan card, you may choose 1 yellow field extra card with an energy cost of 1 in your hand or battle area and place it in the owner's drop area. If you do, you can activate this card's counter skill without paying its energy cost. Obviously, you are locked into not being able to activate counter attack skills for the remainder of the turn, but if you anticipate that your opponent's probably only got 1 or 2 more attacks left, this is a good negate. That's, you can use it for free by removing the field card or 1 from hand, and you have the block available there as well. The last card for the deck, 1 cost Krillin, Battle at the Tree. Permanent, if you have a field extra card in your battle area, this card gains blocker. Auto, if you don't have a field extra card in your battle area, when this card is played from your hand, activate 1 yellow field extra card with an energy cost of 1 from the drop area. So if you do remove all those field cards, you don't have any in hand, you can play the Krillin, activate it from the drop area, get the effects from that field card, and then have the blocker available. So just giving you a bit of options to, work with your drop area a bit more. If those cards are all removed, they are still available there. But that's the deck. That's kind of where my mind's gone with it for now. Play around with it. If you have any kind of ideas and things like that could improve the deck, or you have, something else entirely, let me know, put in the comments, things like that. Always want to get your ideas as well. These decks are just kind of something creative that I've come up with. They're not perfect in any means, but yeah, this is kind of where I'm at with this deck. Something fun that I'll definitely be looking forward to playing around with. As always, thanks for joining us. We want to put this content out and go through all these different ideas as well to kind of improve my deck building skills as well, something that I think I need to improve with. So this gives me the option to do that. But yeah, if you enjoy the videos, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. We always appreciate it. And we'll see you at the next video. Thanks.